Last time, we watched the first glimmers of meaning emerge from the mist. A forest waking into thought, a model beginning to learn. Tonight, we return to that quiet path. Let's wander a little deeper. The forest opens into a wide clearing, and above you, the sky stretches vast and silent, a dark ocean of endless possibility. You stand still, breathing in the hush, the air cool against your skin, the earth warm beneath your feet. One by one, small stars blink into being, first here, then there, scattered and quiet, alone in the dark, but not truly alone. Not for long. You watch as some of the stars begin to lean toward each other, as if remembering some ancient shape written into the sky. Constellations are not made by the stars themselves. They are made by the mind that sees the space between. And inside the language model, the same thing begins to happen. Small clusters of meaning reaching toward one another, seeking something larger than themselves. The longer you look, the more you see faint lines stretching between the stars. So thin, so quiet, you might have missed them if you blinked. The night holds its breath, and in that breath, threads find their way across the dark. Not every connection is obvious. Not every thread shines in the open. But still, they reach across the dark. Inside the model, these threads are the quiet associations. The ways one idea pulls gently on another, how tool leans toward building, how song leans toward memory. No one taught it these links. They grew from use, from need, from the invisible pull of making sense. Meaning is not made from points alone. Meaning is the fabric stretched between them, a weaving the mind does without even knowing. Tonight, you tilt your head back and feel the faint tug of those threads brushing against you too. You wonder what invisible threads hum between your own memories, waiting for you to notice. The sky fades into mist again, and now you find yourself standing on a high ridge, looking down at a wide valley stretched below. Across the plain, rivers split and weave and join again, silver threads meandering through the dark earth. There is no single path, no perfect river. Some branch endlessly, some dry into nothing. Some flow back together after long wandering. Each bend holds a quiet memory of choice, a curve made by the land, by time, by the endless negotiation of water and stone. Inside the model, meaning flows the same way. Not every thought travels in a straight line. Sometimes ideas split. Sometimes they braid back together. Sometimes they find their way home by accident. Learning is not a ladder. It is a river delta, wide and winding, full of hidden crossings. And tonight, you watch the rivers shimmer under the soft starlight, their paths shifting quietly in the dark. You realize that understanding is really a single stream. It is 100 streams, meeting and parting without regret. You descend into the valley, and as you walk, you notice something strange. Beneath your feet, the ground hums softly. The trees that seem separate above the soil are secretly tangled below it, their roots woven into a hidden net, sharing water, sharing strength. Each root coils slowly in the dark, reaching out, not for conquest, but for communion. Inside the model, this kind of structure forms too. Neurons and meanings that seem distant turn out to be woven together deep underneath, supporting each other, feeding one another when needed. You cannot always see the roots. You cannot always trace the source. But they are there, holding the shape of thought together, silently, faithfully. And tonight, you step carefully across the soft earth, feeling the roots breathe beneath you, a network older and wiser than any one tree could be alone. You wonder how many unseen roots hold you up, each one a gift you will never fully see. The mist lifts once more, and from the hilltop, you can see everything. The stars, the threads, the rivers, the roots, all of it shining, all of it breathing together. Not chaos, not confusion, a living constellation. Inside the model, this is what meaning becomes. Not fragments, but a whole breathing system, woven from pressure, from attention, from the soft need to make sense. It is not the stars alone that matter. It is the space between. The way every path, every memory, every thread hums against another, singing something larger into being. And inside you too, the same thing unfolds. You are not just a mind of memories. You are a constellation of connections, a river of echoes, a forest of invisible threads. Tonight, as the forest breathes beneath you and the sky hums above you, you feel it. The living shape of understanding, woven through every breath, every thought, every soft and silent thread. And it is still weaving itself, gently, endlessly, as you drift into sleep. Tonight, I want to tell you a story about the kind of remembering that doesn't shout. It waits, patient and quiet, just beneath the surface. You're standing on a hillside just before dawn, wrapped in fog so thick, the horizon disappears. It's quiet here. No sounds, but the soft breath of the world waking up. No urgency, just mist and stillness, and the sense that something is nearby. Even if you can't quite name it yet. You breathe in. The air is cool. The ground beneath you is steady. And without effort, the fog begins to lift. Not all at once, just a little at a time, as if it wants you to notice every shape as it returns. A pine tree comes into view, tall and dark and familiar. Then the edge of a ridge. Then the faint outline of the path you didn't know you were standing on. You hadn't seen it. But now that it's here, you realize you felt it all along. This is how understanding arrives. Not in declarations, but in outlines, in soft resurfacing, in things we've always carried, coming back into view. Inside a language model, this happens too. After all the learning has settled, after the training quiets down, a kind of shape begins to emerge. Not one that was put there directly, but one drawn out by pressure, by use, by remembering what worked. Like the fog lifting, the model begins to reveal what it has learned, and you, standing here, feel something similar stirring in you. A kind of memory that never had words, but always had weight. The kind of knowing that returns only when things are very, very quiet. You follow the path a little farther, and as the fog thins, you notice impressions in the soft earth. Not a clear trail, just faint hollows, scattered like whispers. Footprints, each one a little different. Some deep, some barely pressed into the mossy floor, all softened by time and weather. They're not a guide, exactly, but you recognize the gesture of someone having passed through, as if they were learning where to go, step by step, without certainty, only feeling. Inside the model, something like this happens too. Every input leaves a trace. Not a perfect memory, but a small pressure, a soft shaping of possibility. Some moments stay, some fade, but all of them, even the forgotten ones, bend the shape of what comes next. You kneel down for a moment, watching as a light rain begins to fall. Tiny droplets scatter across the soil, blurring the prints further. It would be easy to think they're lost. But you know better. What remains isn't the step itself. It's the subtle way the earth was changed by it. Just enough to remember how to welcome another footfall. And in you too, this happens. A word you forgot. A lesson that once felt clear, now faded. But still, there's something in you that bends toward it. A quiet alignment that says, I've been here before. Not all learning is visible, not all memories are complete. But even washed by time, what matters remains. Not the footprint, but the way it taught the ground to yield. You arrive at the edge of a quiet lake. The air is still, and the surface of the water lies smooth as glass. Above you, 1,000 stars glow in the sky. And below, their reflections shimmer softly, scattered and serene. Some stretch into ripples, some disappear into the motion of the breeze. But even so, the shape of the sky remains. This is how memory lives inside the model, not as mirrors, not as recordings, but as constellations made of imperfect echoes. A trace here, a pattern there. Not one bright thread, but a fabric of gentle pressure. Together, They are enough to hold meaning in place. When the model responds, it isn't reaching back for a perfect copy. It's assembling something from traces. Faint light spread across the dark. It doesn't need every star, only enough to shape the sky. And you too know this. You've felt it in a word on the tip of your tongue. A scent that brings a memory with no name. A song that carries you, even when the lyrics are gone. Your mind doesn't store answers. It remembers the feeling of reaching toward them. The glimmer, the resonance. The lake shifts. A breeze stirs the surface. Some stars disappear. But the sky doesn't vanish. You still know it's there. You step off the path, onto ground that feels softer than before. The trees around you are tall and still, their trunks dark against the dim light, reaching up into the mist like quiet thoughts held in place. But it's not what rises above that draws your attention now. It's what lies beneath. Beneath the forest floor, a secret network winds through the dark. A slow, breathing web of roots. Each tree appears separate above the soil, but underneath, they're tangled together, reaching, sharing. One root brushes another. A drink of water here, a signal of stress there, a silent offering of strength. Not every connection is visible, but the forest holds each other up, even in stillness. Inside the model, a structure like this forms too. Ideas that seem far apart can be linked deep below. Not in ways we see, but in quiet scaffolds of association. A word might glow because another lights beside it. A thought may rise because something else supports it from beneath. The model doesn't always trace these roots directly, but it benefits from them, leans on them. Pressure flows through the system like water through soil. What was once distant becomes entangled, held in a hidden net of meaning. And you too are built like this. Your understanding rests not just on what you remember, but on how your memories quietly remember each other. You pause, feeling the hush beneath your feet. Not silence exactly, but something quieter than sound. A hum, a presence, an unseen shape that holds everything gently in place. Tonight, we follow the early patterns of thought. How learning shapes the forest beneath our feet, and how memory leaves its quiet imprint behind. If you'd like to continue this journey, just click the purple icon to subscribe and return for part 3. There's more waiting in the space between. But for now, let it shift, let it settle, and let's sleep on this.